Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So this will be the first topic for the last quarter. Um, Ay, hindi pala last topic. This will be the one of the last topic for our fourth quarter. So medyo mabilis lang yung ating fourth quarter. Kaya pinili ko lang yung mga topics na talagang kakailanganin niyo sa inyong research too. So today's lesson is confidence interval for the population mean. So there will be two cases for this topic. The population mean is, I mean, the standard deviation is known, population standard deviation is known, and the population standard deviation is unknown. Um, Confidence interval, in a layman's term, say for example, suppose that the principal of Arellano University wishes to estimate the average age of students attending classes, this online learning. So the principal of Arellano University could select a random sample of 100 students and find that the average age of these students, say, for example, 17.3 years. So from the sample mean, the the principal of Arellano University could infer that the average age limit of all the students is 17.3 years. Okay? So yun yung um, getting the confidence interval of the population need. So we will be encountering some of the terminologies here all throughout the remaining topics of statistics. The first one is the point estimate. The one that um, I've mentioned earlier about the estimation of the age by the principal of Arellano University that pertains to the point estimate. So a point estimate is a specific numerical value estimate of a parameter. The best point estimate of the population mean. This is the symbol for the population mean. Um, is the sample mean. You might ask why other measures of central tendency, such as the median and the mode, are not used to estimate the population mean. Bakit yung ating sample mean lamang? The reason behind there is that the mean of the samples vary less than other statistics, kagaya ng median at saka kagaya ng mode. Kapag ang sample natin ay nakuha especially from the same population, nagva-vary ngayon yung statistics kagaya ng median at saka yung mode. Therefore, yung sample mean lang ang kinukuha natin as the best estimate of the population mean. Okay? The next one is you will encounter is an interval estimate. So an interval estimate of a parameter is an interval or a range or values used to estimate the parameter. So remember, when you say parameter, you are pertaining to the population. When you say statistic, you are pertaining to the sample. Okay? This estimate may or may not contain the value of the parameter being estimated. Okay? So, paano ba natin i-explain yan na maintindihan natin? Pwede kayong magtanong siguro sa isang research na how good is a point estimate? The answer is that there is no way of knowing how close a particular point estimate is to the population mean. Kaya nga, ang process or the answer places some doubt on the accuracy of the point estimates. Sa ganiyang dahilan, meron tayong tinatawag na other type of estimate na tatawagin nating interval estimate. So sa interval estimate, ang parameter natin, pag sinabing parameter, uulitin ko, population ang tinutukoy niya, is specified as being between two values. Halimbawa na lamang, yung aking example kanina na yung principal ng Arellano ay gusto niyang malaman yung average ages ng uma-attend sa online classes sa Arellano University ng UMS. At lumalabas sa kanyang study na merong 17.3 years old ang average ng mga estudyante ng Arellano. So pwede niyang sabihin na ang population mean doon ay greater than 17.3 but less than 20.4. So naglalaro ngayon yung edad ng mga ages ng Arellano na nakuha niya sa sample from 17.3 years old but less than 20.4. Yun po yung interval estimate. Okay? The next one is the confidence level. I know this one is not new to you kasi na-explain na ito doon sa research 1 natin. Pero I'll try to explain pa them. The confidence level of an interval estimate of a parameter is the probability that the interval estimate will contain the parameter, assuming that a large number of samples are selected and that the estimation process on the same parameter is repeated. Marami ang nalilito sa pagkakaiba ng confidence level sa confidence interval. Kapag sinabing confidence interval, it's a specific interval estimate of a parameter determined by using the data obtained from a sample and by using the specific confidence level of estimate. Sa field ng research, ang karamihan sa ginagamit natin na confidence level ay ang 90% confidence level, 95% confidence level, at ang 99% confidence level. Kapag sinabing 90%, 95%, saka 99%, ibig sabihin, if you are going to reconduct the research, you are 90% sure that you'll be getting the same result. If you are going to reconduct the research, you are 95% confident that you are getting the same result. Or if you are using 99%, you are 99% confidence that the decision that you made, whether to accept or to reject the null hypothesis, is correct. Okay? So may mga katumbas yan siya na confidence level na ginagamit ng karamihan. Okay, next we have here. Here will be the confidence interval of the mean for specific alpha. It may looks like a tasky, not a friendly formula, pero titingnan natin, madali lang siya kapag isa-solve mo. Kasi kung titingnan mo, ito ay minus, ito ay plus siya. That's the reason why pinahanda ko kayo ng calculator because it would be a time-consuming for you if you are going to do it manually, or if your calculator is not a scientific calculator, then you will be getting the same different answer. So as mentioned, if you are using 90% confidence interval, the equivalent there is 1.65. If the problem states that you compute the population mean using the 95% confidence interval, then we will be using 1.96 at kapag yan ay 99%, yan po ay 2.58. Depends upon kung yan ay two-tailed or one-tailed. But anyway, I am not going to discuss further about two-tailed and one-tailed because we will have a separate lesson for that. This is if we will be using the z-test. Again, the z-test is used when the population standard deviation is given and the sample size is greater than or equal to 30. Sana hindi pa rin natin yun makakalimutan kasi mapapatawad kayo ng research teacher nyo kung may mali sa grammar, kung merong mali doon sa anong tawag nito, yung mga indenture of format ng paper, pero kapag nagkamali kayo ng gamit ng statistical treatment, then you are going to repeat the research. Now, this is for the confidence interval when for the mean when S is unknown, it should be population, standard deviation is unknown, and the sample size is less than 30. Bakit parang, okay. Ang gagamitin natin ngayon ay t-test. Ulit, stress out natin. Kapag ang sample size mo ay mas mababa sa 30 at wala kang population standard deviation, in the absence of the population standard deviation, ang gagamitin natin ay sample standard deviation. Then we will be doing the t-test. In the t-test, yung finorward ko sa inyo, ito yung itsura niyan. Ibang-iba siya sa itsura ng um, z-value o yung z-test natin. So meron tayong 90%, hindi ko lang siya masulatan, ano? Meron siyang 95% at meron siyang 99%. And then yung second column, may nakikita kayo dyan na degree of freedom, DF, which is n-1. So for instance, your research composed of 29 students or 29 respondents. Ang N mo dyan ay 29 dito. Pero ang degree of freedom mo ay 28 lang kasi 29 minus 1, that's 28. In a layman's term, para maintindihan natin ang degree of freedom, let's say for example, you have 5 kayo magkakaklase, and then kayo 5 magkakaklase, pangangalanan natin as classmate A, classmate B, classmate C, classmate D, and classmate E. Si classmate A ay merong 5 klase ng tsokolate ay papamigay sa inyong 5. Si classmate A, ang unang mamimili, meron siyang laya na mamili doon sa 4 na brand ng chocolate na gusto niya. Si classmate B, meron siyang 4 na pagpipilian, so meron siyang layang makapamili doon sa 4 na natitira. Si classmate C ay meron siyang laya na makapamili doon sa 3 natitira. Si classmate B ay meron siyang 4. Meron siyang 2 pagpipilian, meron siyang laya na makapamili doon sa 2 natirang brand ng chocolate. Yung panghuli yung kaklase, wala na siyang choice, kundi kung ano ang matira, yun ang kanya makukuha. So suma total, ang talagang meron lamang freedom na makapamili ng kanyang brand ng chocolate ay 4 lamang. Kaya n-1, yung 5, magiging 4 siya. Yun yung pinakamadaling maintindihan natin yung degree of freedom. Okay, so provided na dyan, kunyari ang ating degree of freedom, ang ating sample size ay 12, yun yung n, ang degree of freedom niya ay 11, ang confidence level ay 95%, so ang kanyang katumbas ay 2.201, yung naka-kulay blue. Okay, so sinali ko to, para hindi kayo malito, is the population mean is the population standard deviation known o meron ba sa problem na population standard deviation? Kapag ang sagot mo ay yes, so dito ka pupunta, ang gagamitin natin ay z-test. Hindi ka pwedeng magkamali sa gagamitin mong statistical treatment kasi gaya ng sinabi ko, mag-uulit ka talaga niyan. Kapag hindi available ang population standard deviation, no ang sagot mo, ang pipiliin mo ngayon ay t-test. Provided na yung n mo dyan ay less than 30, the variable must be normally distributed. Kapag hindi siya normally distributed, hindi mo pwedeng gamitin ang z-test or ang t-test. Okay? In my experience, students sometimes have difficulty deciding whether to use z or t-test. Kapag naghanap na ng confidence interval for the mean. Kapag, paulit-ulit ko na sinasabi, when the population standard deviation is known, merong ka, z-test ang gagamitin. No matter what the sample size is, as long as the variable is normally distributed, at yan ay n greater than or equal to 30. Kapag ang population standard deviation ay wala, pero ang sample size mo ay greater than or equal to 30, then ang gagamitin mo ay sample standard deviation. T-test naman ngayon. At ang huli, kapag ang population standard deviation ay nawawala, pero ang sample size mo ay less than 30, then t-test pa din ang gagamitin natin. Ibig sabihin, Para magamit mo ang z-test, isa lamang ang kamang criteria, isa lamang ang kanyang criteria, dapat greater than or equal to 30 ang sample size mo at ang iyong population standard deviation ay given. Kapag walang population standard deviation, kahit na anong sample size mo, t-test ang kukunin mo, ang gagamitin. Okay? I hope malinaw ang t-test at saka yung z-test. Suppose we have here a survey. A survey of the Pulse Asia found that 45% of the people who were offended by a television program would change the channel, while 15% would turn off their television sets. The survey further stated that the margin of error is 3 percentage points, and 1,200 adults were interviewed. We have here the several questions that may arise. How do these estimates compare with the true population percentages? What is meant by error of 3 percentage points? Is the sample 1,200 large enough to represent the population of all adults who watch television in the Philippines? Okay, so for us to answer these questions, let's have the following example. So we'll be computing now. I hope naka-ready yung ating mga calculator. So a researcher wishes to estimate the number of days it takes an automobile dealer to sell a Chevrolet Aveo, a sample of 50 cars, has a mean time of the dealer's lot of 54 days. Assume the population standard deviation is 6.0 days. Find the best point estimate of the population mean and the 95% confidence interval of the population mean. I suggest ilista nyo lahat ng given. Meron ka dyan na sample na 50. Meron tayong binanggit dyan a sample of 50 cars had a mean time on the dealer's lot of 54 days. So yung 54 ay sample mean. Tapos meron pa siyang binanggit na assume the population standard deviation to be 6 days. So that is 6. Find the best point estimate of the population mean and the 95% confidence interval of the population mean. So the Z alpha over 2 there is 95%. Kung babalikan natin yung ating slide kanina, ang katumbas ng 95% ay 1.96. Para lang, ito po, nakita nyo ang 95%. For 95% confidence interval, Z alpha over 2, use 1.96. So let's apply that in the formula. The formula there is sample mean minus Z alpha over 2 multiplied by the population standard deviation divided by the square root of the sample less than sample mean plus Z alpha over 2 multiplied by the population standard deviation all over the sample. Tapos i-plot mo lang yan sa given. Yung ating sample mean ay 54. Ang Z alpha over 2 ay 1.96. 6 ito over the square root of 50. Yan muna i-compute natin. May calculator ba kayo? Pa-compute. Yung 54 minus 1.96, isang computan ha, times 6 over square root of 50. Sino ang may calculator? Ang lalabas dyan ay 52.33. Tingin ako kung, pa-check ako kung tama. So 54 plus 1.96, 6 over square root of 50. Ito naman ay less than 55.66. At kinompute natin yung 54 plus 1.96 multiplied by 6 over square root of 50, ang lalabas dyan ay 55.66. Pero hindi yan natatapos yung sagot. Kailangan mong sagutin yung tanong. So therefore, the automobile dealer cancel the Chevrolet greater than 52.33 days but less than 55.66 days. There is no template when giving the conclusion for as long as the thought will be there. So you could simply say that the population mean is greater than 52.33 days but less than 55.66 days. But to make it more formal, you could say hence the automobile dealer can sell the car greater than 52.33 days but less than 55.66 days. But if you are going to make your final answer into a word lang na greater than 52.33 but less than 55.66, that's still accepted. Notice that I use Z alpha over 2 instead of T alpha over 2, yung t-test. Kasi ang sample size ko ay 50 greater than 30 at meron akong population standard deviation. Okay, question? Mukha lang siyang mahirap, pero kung wala kayong calculator, mas mahirap siya. Okay, let's have the next one. I still have 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Okay. So a survey of 30 adults. So dito magkaka-idea ka na. Greater than 30 siya, greater than or equal to 30. A survey of 30 adults found that the mean age of a person's primary vehicle is 5.6 days. So meron kang 50 na sample. Ang isa ay 50, 30 pala. Ang isa sa mahirap dito yung hindi mo alam kung ano yung population mean at saka yung yung population mean, yung sample mean. So yung 5.6 dyan, basically yan yung magiging sample mean. Assuming the standard deviation of the population. So, ilista mo agad. Population standard deviation is 0.8. Find the best point estimate of the population mean and the 99% confidence interval of the population mean. So, ang Z alpha over 2 is 99%. Katumbas yan kay 2.58. Saan galing ang 2.58? Kung babalikan natin kanina, ang 2.58 ay galing dito. 99% siya, so 2.58 ang gagamitin natin. Okay, ang ginamit ko ay z-test kasi meron akong population standard deviation. I-plot mo lang yan sa given, sample mean minus z alpha over 2 times the population standard deviation all over the sample size less than the population mean less than the sample mean plus the z alpha over 2. Mahaba lang yung formula pero ilan lang naman dyan sa solve. Plot natin, ang sample mean ay 5.6, ang alpha over 2 ay 2.58, population mean is 0.8 and the sample mean is sample size, square root of 30. This will be 5.6 plus 2.58 and then 0.8 over square root of 30. Ito muna, pasolve nga muna niyan. Anong sagot? 5.6 minus 2.58 times 0.8 over the square root of 30. Anong lalabas na sagot? From Annabelle Rivera, it's 5.22. That is correct, Annabelle. It's 5.22 less than you. So ano yung nasa right side? Kung 5.22 yung nasa left side. Kapag sinusubukan nyo siyang i-compute at hindi nyo nakuha ang 5.22, may problema sa pag-i-input sa calculator niyo. Anong sagot? Yung nasa right side, itong 5.6 plus 2.58 times 0.8 over square root of 36. Square root of 30, sorry. Wala nag-solve. Ang sagot po niyan ay 5.96. Okay? So, hindi natatapos dyan. Kailangan yung interpret yung sagot nyo. So, ano bang tinatanong dyan? Years, di ba? Ng kung gaano katagal yung primary vehicle. So, therefore, hence, in conclusion, you can use those words. The age of a person's primary vehicle is greater than 5.22 years but less than 5.96 years. Sigurado kayo, wala kayong tanong ha? 5.96 na nakuha ko. Ulitin ko baka 5.6 plus 2.58 0.8 over the square root of 30. 5.98 nga siya dapat. It should be 5.98. Jessery, 5.97 kasi siya. Kaya lang ang sumunod ay 6. So dapat ay 5.98. Thank you for that. 5.98. That's correct, Annabelle. Okay, let's try number 3. 10 randomly selected people were asked how long they slept at night. The mean time was 7.1 hours and the standard deviation was 0.78 hour. Find the 95% confidence interval of the mean time. Assume the variable is normally distributed. Binanggit niya na normal ang distribution ng data. So yung 10, randomly selected, yun yung n mo dyan. 10. And then, ang mean time mo ay 7.1 hours. So yun yung sample mean mo. Tapos, ang standard deviation mo dito ngayon ay S na to. Kasi sample standard deviation. S which is 0.78. Ang tanong ko dyan ngayon, ang gagamitin ko ba ay t-test or z-test? Ang sample size ko ay 10 lamang. So, hindi ako umabot ng 30. Less than 30 siya. So, ang gagamitin ko ngayon ay t-test na. So, t alpha over 2 which is 95%. Anong katumbas ngayon ng t alpha over 2? Titingin ka sa t-test. Ito yung t-test natin. Ang sample size mo kanina ay anong pangalan ito? 10. Tapos 95%. Dito ka titingin sa 95%. Tapos ito yung 10 natin na n. So ang katumbas niya ay 2.262. Nakita po paano ko kinuha yung T alpha over 2. 95%, tapos hinanap ko yung n, 2.262. So yun yung ilalagay ko dito, 2.262. So ang formula naman niya ay kaparehas lang, that sample mean minus T alpha over 2. Instead of writing the population standard deviation, S ang ating ilalagay as the sample standard deviation. Sample mean plus T alpha over 2, sample standard deviation all over the square root of n. So we have there 7.1 minus 2.262 Our S there is 0.78 over the square root of 10. Can you compute kung anong lalabas nito? 6 point, hindi ko paano compute. 6.54. Yeah, that is correct. Jessery. 6.54. Ang right side ay ano? So ang left side is 6.54. 7.66. That is correct. So hindi dyan natatapos. So hence, the mean time that people slept at night is greater than 6.54 hours but less than 7.66 hours. Natutulog daw yung mga respondents greater than 6.54 hours but less than 7.66. Are you sure? You have no question, ha? Anyway, susundan nyo lang naman to pag sinend ko yung copy ng presentation. Next, let us have the last example. Nathan, a student from Humanities and Social Sciences, wants to estimate the pages per cartridge print rate of a new printer model. A random sample of 10. Random sample. So ito yung N. And there is 10. Of the new printer model showed a mean of 1,400 pages per cartridge with a sample standard deviation of 20. Obvious na kasi binanggit niya yung sample standard deviation na 20. Construct a 99% confidence interval to estimate the pages per cartridge rate of the new printer model. So ang gagamitin natin ngayon ay t-test kasi less than 30 yung ating N. Tapos, wala tayong population standard deviation. Ang meron lamang tayo ay sample standard deviation which is 2. So tingnan natin ang katumbas niyan sa 99% sa t-test. So ito yung 99%. So ang katumbas niya ay 3 kasi 10 yung sample niya eh. So 3.250. So we have now 3.250. Sulat mo lang sample mean T alpha over 2, sample standard deviation over the square root of the sample, sample mean plus T alpha over 2, sample standard deviation all over. So we have there 1,400 minus 3.250, 20 over the square root of 10. Pa-compute nito, anong sagot? Yeah, that's correct. 139.45 pages. Tapos yung kabila ay ano, ba't nawala na yung ano, population mean? 1,420, yeah. 0.55. So in other words, does the new printer can print greater than 1,379.45 pages but less than 1,420.55 pages. Ano ang medyo malabo doon sa mga choices? Lagi mo lang babalikan kung t-test ba or z-test ba ang gagamitin. Question? Okay, you sure ha? Ay, meron pa pala isa. For a group of 10 men subjected to um, a stress situation, the mean number of heartbeats per minute was 126 and the standard deviation was 4. Bilisan ko ha kasi I only have 5 minutes. The standard deviation was 4. Find the 95% confidence interval of the true mean. Anong gagamitin? T-test or z-test? Just type it kung t-test ba or z-test ang gagamitin. Base sa problem. Annabelle Rivera says it's t-test. That's correct. Ang gagamitin natin ay t-test. Chito Samonte says it's t-test. Kasi meron tayong sample mean na 10 tapos sample standard deviation na 4. So isulat ko yung ngayon. N is 10. Ang ating sample mean ay 126. Sample standard deviation ay 4. So ang ating gagamitin ay P alpha over 2 which is 95. Alam ko na-compute na natin to kanina, ano? Yung 95 na P alpha over 2 tapos 10. Ang katumbas niya ay 2.262. 2.262. So ibig sabihin yan, sample mean minus T alpha over 2, sample standard deviation all over the square root of the sample. Sulat ko lang yung formula. So you always start with the formula para hindi mo siya nakakalimutan. So 126 minus 2.262, 4 over the square root of 10, less than 126 plus 2.262, 4 over the square root of 10. So the population mean there is greater than 123.14 but less than 128.86. So thus the mean heartbeat of the population is greater than 123.14 beats per minute but less than 128.86 beats per minute. Okay? This will be the first activity to be uploaded in the LMS. Hindi ko alam kung merong honors sa inyo, but there will be there was a memorandum that the ang tawag nito? Para mauna mag-exam yata yung mga with honor. So, with honor ba o yung lalaban sa honor? Malaking factor kapag nagpasa kayo ng maaga sa LMS kaysa yung late kayo magpasa. Kasi kapag maaga nagpasa, ang maximum na pwedeng makuha ay 100. Kapag late nagpasa, like late ka ng minutes to 10 days, 95 na lang. 11 days to 20 days na late ka, 85 na lang ang maximum nakuha. More than 20 days ka ng late sa pagpasa sa LMS, maximum na lang na 80 ang pwede nating makuha na grade. Okay? That's all for today. Thank you for joining the class and wait lang pala yung attendance, hindi ko pa nakuha. Dali lang. Muna.